Okay, let's talk about the Winnipeg Whisky Festival. This is the 7th one coming up.
Yep.
What is it?
So the Winnipeg Whisky Festival is an opportunity to not only try a variety of styles of world whiskeys, gins, tequilas, rums, but it's also a fundraiser for the Manitoba Sport Hall of Fame.
Right.
It takes place at the Fairmont. There's 45 booths, over 160 different distilled spirits, mainly whiskey. So kind of a cool opportunity if you like whiskey, if you're getting into whiskey. You know, maybe you like Scotch, you want to know more about bourbon. Maybe you drink Canadian whiskey and you want to know more about what's out there. Or maybe you've had Scotch, you don't like it, and you want to try and see if there's a style that you do enjoy. So it's a good opportunity to come out, have some fun, eat some food, try some whiskey, and support a good cause.
Why do you think it's so popular? For 7 years.
Whiskey's popular. Mm-hmm. The reason a Winnipeg Whisky Festival started is because there was pent-up demand for it. So this year is actually the first year as well that it's gone from being one evening to 2 shows. So it was selling out really quickly. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're in a cold winter, party person type of environment. So, you know, whiskey warms the soul, and brown spirits are very popular. They're interesting.
Brown people too.
Brown people too, sure. Teach their own. Whiskey's more complex than if we were to compare it to vodka. I find a lot of people, even with food, like to experiment with different flavors, right? And they like balance, but they like intensity, and whiskey has those things. So if you're looking for something with character, whiskey has it. There's not really 2 that are the same, so it's intriguing that way. And very good for making cocktails as well. We have a couple here. We have a Manhattan, and we have what I call the Scotch Ginger.
Dude, okay, so the only thing I don't like about this,
yes,
which I said to you before, is the glass is too small. This should be in a big gulp cup. I love this so much.
A big gulp cup,
just to chug it, it's so good. I want to know what it is.
Social responsibility. Yeah. You always have a serving
No,
size.
No such thing.
But what it is, so it's not necessarily a cocktail you'll find in a book. Like Krista, you mentioned, what is it?
Mamie Taylor.
A Mamie Taylor. So it's modeled kind of after that. So what it is Johnny Walker Black blended Scotch whiskey. Then you have some orange bitters, Angostura orange bitters, some fresh squeezed lemon juice, and then you have ginger beer. So all of that has been poured over ice and then stirred. Really versatile. A lot of people wouldn't think to mix a Scotch whiskey,
Fully,
but Johnny Walker Black is absolutely beautiful. Blended Scotch whiskeys can sometimes, be thought of as, the little brother or little sister or, younger sibling of single malt Scotch, which is put a little bit on a pedestal for good reason. But blended Scotch whiskeys are made to be consumed. And as a result of how they're made, they're a little lighter in flavor, which makes them awesome for cocktails. But they still are intense. It's still whiskey, right? Some smokiness, some sweetness to the Johnny Walker Black, which balances the spice of the ginger and the bitterness of the Angostura.
You're a terrible radio guest, just saying. You don't know anything. It's super annoying.
So delicious.
Like it?
It is. Yeah. Like I said, glass too small. Just saying.
Big gulp.
Big gulp.
Big gulp. When we first met, you were talking about the Flatlanders Beer Festival.
Yeah.
Back then, because there's so many beers and there's so many things to try. Same with the Whiskey Festival. When you look at the list of products that are available for people to try, it's enormous. It's huge. And for the beer festival, one thing you told me, which was very smart, you kind of got to go in with a plan. You can't just go in there and sit and try certain things. You just got to go in with a plan of attack. So what would be the plan of attack for the Whiskey Festival?
Yeah, so plan of attack for the Whiskey Festival. There's going to be 160 some products approximately.
Crazy.
3 hours to taste, 4 if you're VIP. So there's a lot of opportunity to try a lot of things. What I would say is go in with a plan in terms of go on the website, the Winnipeg Whisky Festival website, see what's going to be there. When you get your program, kind of earmark or dog ear some booths that you want to go to. Try what you're there most excited about first, right? Obviously, you're going to want to pace yourself. You're going to want to arrive safe, so have alternative transportation. Or when you're leaving, make sure you're not drinking and driving. So make sure you've got the driving taken care of because those two don't mix.
For sure.
But one reason why you want to go in with a little bit of an idea of what you want to try is you're trying probably these products neat, which means no ice, nothing like that. They might be chilled. And palate fatigue is the real thing. So when you are trying high-strength spirits, your palate's going to be fatigued very quickly. So try what you're there to really explore first. There will be an on-site liquor mart with festival exclusive. So anything that you try that's exclusive to the show, you will have an opportunity to buy.
Nice.
If you try those later in the night, you might say, oh, I don't like this, or oh, I really like this, and when we try it later on, it's going to taste different because your palate's so overwhelmed. And of course, this is an intoxicating substance. Your mind gets overwhelmed a little bit too.
No.
So you want to be in the moment, you want to pace yourself, you want to eat, you want to arrive safe, you want to leave safe. And what I would say is go check out the things you're really excited about first before your palate becomes too overwhelmed.
So, I have a question. So between these drinking, how do you cleanse your palate so you can move on to the next?
Okay, good question. So some tips to avoid palate fatigue. One,
Your hand up. Your hand up.
Tim's next. One is water.
Yeah.
Have water in between samples. Two would be, not mandatory, but there are spittoons located at the festival. So that's one way to kind of keep your palate more fresh. And there's also, Tim, some wonderful food there. Right? And whiskey and food go hand in hand. But if you're trying to get, let's say, a smoky scotch off your palate, maybe you want to go and enjoy something sweet. Or maybe you've got something really spicy, perhaps you want to go and try something that's maybe a little bit rich. So you can eat food, you can drink water, you can take steps like, for example, spitting, if you want to. It's up to you. Everyone paid good money to go to this thing.
People spit?
I do.
What?
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Wow.
I have to remember what I'm trying, right?
Yeah.
That's part of my job, unfortunately. Yeah, it's cool. Aaron gets to go try all these whiskeys.
Yeah, but that's a lot.
It is, yeah, and I have to remember what they are, I have to remember what they taste like for future opportunities.
It'd be funny. How was that? I have no clue what happened last night, man. I have no idea.
We'll fall down there.
Yeah. You have pre-events before the actual event, so maybe we can talk about those.
So because the big show, the two whiskey festival main event tastings that are on Friday, March 1st and Saturday, March 2nd, sell out so fast and are so large, there are two ancillary events, let's call them, that happen on the Thursday leading up to. So that'd be Thursday, February 28th. One is at Sport Hall of Fame. One is at the Grand Park Liquor Mart. There's a bourbon master class. So you have a lot of interest about whiskey. That's why the festival exists. But you have people coming from all over the world to represent the products and showcase what they've got. So if you enjoy learning about whiskey, these are kind of the events for you. The show is great because you can try a lot. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
If you want to learn about bourbon, get yourself a ticket to the bourbon ancillary event. $35.
Yeah, reasonable.
You won't regret it.
Yep.
And the second class has to do with craft whiskeys. So craft is a little bit of a loaded term, not quite defined. But what they're talking about are kind of small batch, quality ingredient, big flavor whiskeys. So in that, you can experience some Canadian whiskeys as well as some Welsh whiskeys, which aren't something that you come across every day. So if you're interested in whiskey, maybe go to both. If you're looking for kind of a more intimate setting, you can break out your notepad and kind of take some notes and learn a lot. Definitely the ancillary events are a good option.
Where does Canada fit in the world of whiskey?
So Canada actually has quite a prominent role in terms of the global scale of whiskey, thanks to the temperance movement from back in the day in the United States. So Prohibition in the States was the best thing that ever happened to Canadian whiskey.
Why?
Wow.
Because the Americans were buying the most Canadian whiskey, and they still are the world's largest buyer of Canadian whiskey.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's
It is
cool.
amazing. But, so Canadian whiskey, to answer your question, let's first look at what makes it unique. So, how are whiskeys similar? They're all non-neutral wood-aged spirits. Okay? You have a couple different distillation methods, one that makes a very light spirit, one that makes a very heavy, flavorful spirit. You age them in oak. Canadian whiskey, you can think of it as a blended whiskey. So they have base whiskeys, which are going to be column distilled, means light in flavor, and then they can be made from corn, barley, rye, or wheat. And you also have these flavoring whiskeys, which are lower in alcohol, stronger in flavor, aged for a variety of amounts of time, and then blended together. So it really is kind of an artisan whiskey. You think, rye, put hair on your chest while eating maple taffy on a stick, whatever. But Canadian whiskey is looked at on a global scale as a very elegant whiskey, very good for mixing, but also very approachable, but very flavorful. That's why you can call Canadian whiskey rye, is there should be a perception of that spiciness that rye gives it. So a lot of people enjoy it as a mixing whiskey, but if you're a whiskey connoisseur and you're looking for something flavorful, it's still very easy to drink, that's where Canadian whiskey can really kind of showcase what it's got to offer.
This guy is just like crazy.
That's cool.
I've learned a lot since the last summer.
Like
I
if
know
you,
he's talking. I forget. Oh yeah, I got it.
You
Ask
gotta
another
talk
question.
well, if you were to go up to someone and you were to say, "Hey, have you ever had Canadian whiskey?" They're going to mention Crown Royal.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
Road
popular
trip.
globally. And what makes whiskeys popular? They have to be easy to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, where we are, Fairmont, but the perfect place to have a whiskey festival because
The VG Lounge, we've got the second largest whiskey selection in the city.
yeah, wow.
Outside of, I believe it's the whiskey bar at the Toad. We really want to entice everybody to come down leading up to it, even the week previous or afterwards. Anytime, come on down and we'll give you a full tour of our whiskey selection. We also have a whiskey menu. Would be running a prefix whiskey paired menu the week leading up to Whiskey Fest and the week after for those that maybe don't have the chance to make it to the big show. And though we got 2 nights, and I do believe there's still tickets available.
The great part about having it here, if you have too much to drink, they have rooms, right?
Great, yeah. Well, you take the elevator home. It's
Yeah.
better than the
Yeah.
cab. So.
They're giving $10 vouchers for cabs too. Right?
That's right. As part of your ticket, you get a $10 voucher towards your
Tap card or
Exactly.
just
They're hilarious. How many people are going to be at each event? How many people can it hold?
I'm
Each
thinking,
night.
I thought it was around 300 or 400. I don't know the exact number, but it's a good space upstairs, the mezzanine hotel.
Yep.
There's lots of room to move around, lots of opportunity to talk to the principals that are behind the booth.
Right.
So
Which is the main thing, right? Especially
which
for the
is,
ones
which is
that
the
don't
main
know.
thing. I mean, they cap it at a certain amount of tickets to maintain that kind of excellent environment, right, where you can
Yeah.
engage with the people behind the
Yes.
booths, because these aren't necessarily, we were talking about, flavorful whiskeys. They're intriguing. You try them and you're curious, right? Or Tim, you go and try his prefix menu with whiskey pairings, and then that sparks something in your mind and you want to explore that, right? You become curious. So around 300 to 400 people. Tickets are pretty expensive, but there's also a large selection, a buffet of sorts of food that you can have with the whiskey. So it seems a little bit of sticker shock sometimes if you
But
compare
what you're
it
getting
to
for the
beer
price
fest.
is actually
Correct.
a deal.
Huge
right?
value.
Yeah.
Are
Huge
people
value.
actually buying whiskey during the festival and taking home with them, or is it just to try?
Oh no, definitely. Yeah, whiskeys are collectible. We were talking a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Different bourbons and scotches. There is an on-site liquor mart. Some of the products that are at the festival you cannot get ever, except for that night.
Right.
So if you try something you like it, you're like, where can I get it? Actually,
Get it now.
it's a festival exclusive. Then there's a very
Now or
small
never.
amount. Now or
Yes.
never. Now or potentially never. Yeah. And then you can, showcase the bottle on your back bar, make all your friends jealous, and hopefully you open it.
Take a lot of Instagram.
Hopefully,
Yes.
no.
And if you showcase
Not
and
a-
dangle, then they're just going to open it.
Exactly.
No.
Dangle and
Don't
carrot.
dangle too much.
You gotta buy 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One for friends.
Should only
one
be
for
dangles
yourself.
on the podcast.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So where can people get tickets? There are tickets still left. Where
There
can
are
people
tickets
get
still available.
Yeah.
People can go online to the Winnipeg Whisky Festival website. There are 2 tickets. So there's a VIP ticket and there's a regular admission ticket. They are also offering this year a whole experience ticket. So maybe you're coming in from out of town. We mentioned it can be slightly overwhelming. There's a package that you can buy for both nights as well.
Oh,
So
really?
you go to both shows.
Yeah.
There's also 10 packs that you can save a
That's
little bit
actually,
of money on.
you don't have to cram everything in one night.
No,
Kinda just
now
kinda
you
go
definitely
easy.
have to
Yeah.
stay here.
That's new. That's new this year.
Right?
The VIP ticket, you get access to a master class, so you get some education involved, and you get 1 hour advanced entry into the tasting room, and that's very exclusive. I think it's only about 20-25% of the tickets
Yep.
that are VIP. But go to the Winnipeg Whisky Festival website. There's also some information on the Liquor Mart website as well that can direct you there. Check out kind of what to expect, kind of plan your attack, and you can also get some tickets there as well.
And you can see the menu too.
See the menu.
It's delicious.
It was cheers to the whiskey and the food.
Right on.
Whiskey and
Yes.
food.
Yes, thank you very much. This is
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.